Alright, are we going? We should be going. So hi, I am Bad Fat Panda. I really like as I was finishing my apple, like getting ready to like starting at my computer, stuff like that. I just figured that it would be my dream to open up every vlog with you know Dr. Nick from The Simpsons. He literally, like, whenever he's in anywhere, he always just opens with "Hi everybody." And that's I feel like that is how I should begin every vlog. So what am I doing on my laptop? I am getting up the brackets for MLG because MLG is this weekend. Last weekend we had IM. It's the first major I said I was finishing my apple, but I'm gonna be a douche and eat this while I do my vlog because I have to cook right after this, and I just got back from a concert. And I have very little time to do this today, so please forgive me as I wave my knife to make points. The caster list for MLG is actually like pretty nice. I really enjoyed DJ Wheat's casting. I think he has a passion for the game, and I think it shows. And he is quite a funny individual. So I like hearing commentary from funny individuals. But speaking about that, I mean, commentary. If you have yet to catch the HSL, yeah, the HSL, former Brood War player. He was a Terran player back in the early, yeah, definitely the earlier days of Brood War, because he was really peaking around like 1999, 2000. Engine, right? Or sorry, the Marine. Engine actually commentated, who is one of the Korean commentators for the GSL. He commentates in Korean, obviously. He commentated in English this tournament, and it featured 8 players. It featured, let me see if I remember these right. San, Supernova, Maru, Lucky, Hyun, not Starto, Hack. There you go. Monster, and I haven't caught that match. I haven't caught the semifinal match between. Who was it? I won't spoil anything, but he was playing a Protoss opponent. All right, so if you haven't caught that, definitely check out the VODs. Engine is a spectacular English caster. He is very, very funny. And he knows an absurd amount about the game. I think he is honestly better than the overwhelming majority of English casters we have in the scene right now. And English is his second language, if that. So really, definitely check that out. I found it very, very entertaining. All of the games were absolutely fucking spectacular. If I were to suggest one, I would say 100% go watch Maru versus San on Daybreak. And catch Supernova versus Lucky on Daybreak. Both games were absolutely insane. The TVT. Alright, I can't actually. I just said that there was a TVT series. Oh my god. That's a spoiler. I'm sorry. You can kill me now. There was actually a lot that happened outside of the fact that Heart of the Storm actually released. Recently there was an interview published with David Kim. Outside of that whole like press stay. Oh my god. Heart of the Storm's coming out tomorrow thing, that they kind of, it branched off on a couple of points regarding game balance. They figured out overall that game balance is actually pretty damn good. I kind of agree with that, with some reservation. I think that Void Rays are currently imbalanced. I think that Medevac boost needs to be nerfed either with a cooldown or costing energy, something of the sort. And boop doop doo. I think that Widow Mines could use some tweaks early game against Zerg. I really like their approach to potentially reducing the splash damage that they do. I think that Widow Mines late game still suffer in the sense that they're not actually, they're a coin flip unit in the late game. Nobody will actually utilize them outside of, well, let's cross my fingers and hope this works, right? Because in TVZ, if they get fungled when you're trying to move them en masse under like a Broodlord Infestor army, against Ultralists with Marine Marauder composition, you need a lot of Marauders. But the problem there is if you're going straight up bio, you have very little to counter Broodlords. So through multitasking, through the fact that Shuttles are overpowered right now. You can do damage in the early game to kind of supplement the fact that you are insecure about your late game unit composition. It's also pretty difficult to make Ravens work en masse against Ultralisk forces in general when you're transitioning from bio. I actually favor a late game air style of play that has been working out spectacularly for me. In the late game, I very rarely lose when I get enough starports to actually switch and don't die before then, which is actually quite difficult on some of the new maps that are very, very Zerg favored in the ladder pool, which I do not necessarily like. But game balance in general is favoring Terran over Zerg, so it's okay to kind of push that under the rug, right? What else happened? Oh, Puma was released, unfortunately, from EG. That's really unfortunate. He was one of my favorite players to watch. He really hasn't been doing well recently. I believe he did actually have surgery on his, or some sort of medical problem with his wrist that he was recovering from. But he has not been doing well of late, which is really unfortunate. And I don't know, this may be the boost that he needs, like, to kind of get back into relevancy, because if we're talking about relevant Terrans, he was damn well up the top there about a year ago, better part of a year and a half ago. And he just really has been going downhill since then. Polt was sponsored by CM Storm. It's actually kind of cool. So Cooler Master has been branching off into this new kind of like gamer product base. And it's really, really interesting, A, to see that they're doing that, and B, to see that they're investing the money and the time to esports, and specifically sponsoring a player who has recently left his team in search of studying, I believe, veterinary sciences in America, in the University of Austin, Texas, I believe. I'm not 100% certain about that, but I did hear that veterinary sciences, whether it was a troll or not, I was quite shocked to hear it, but all the more power to him, because that's pretty fucking awesome. Also, it's great to just brush up your English, because his English is actually pretty good. Like, if you can get him talking in an interview, he does very well for himself. But in general, foreigners are very reserved about publicly declaring the proficiency with English. Whereas, like, if you catch them privately, everybody, if you ever go to a foreign country, everyone that once they know that you speak English, everyone wants to try their English on you. It's like it's a blessing and a curse at the same time. Another bite of apple. The last time I ate was at 11 after a 3-hour bike ride, and like I can't go 5 hours without eating. It's just not in me. But this is literally the only period of free time I have today. That's pretty much it. Heart of the Swarm. I'm liking Heart of the Swarm. I'm liking Heart of the Swarm a lot. I think that I won't really have an opportunity to play it again for a while, but my first couple games were quite fun. I made Pro's Rage. That's always enjoyable. Not Idra yet. I'm waiting until he streams the next time so I can snipe him and make him rage. So let's see now. In 1 hour from now, MLG, right? It's actually a bracket format. They were talking about Sentence was talking about the possibility. Sentence was talking about the possibility of potentially eliminating the open bracket from MLGs in a LAN setting. Alright, so you would like really kind of transfer the open bracket to online. He said it wasn't confirmed the last time that I had heard, but I'm interested to see how that develops, because really to me, honestly the best part about MLG, those times it kept me staying up at night when I literally had like bajillion things to do that Monday, because it seemed like MLG weekend just loved to put itself right in the middle of whatever the hell I had to do for X or Y in the semester. And it was always, I never do work until I actually need to complete it, until there's a date less than like 4 days ahead of me. That's how the majority of it, I like to believe that that's how the majority of us are. So I'm going to go ahead. I'm going to predict the brackets right here, right now. Let's see. So, starting off with Life versus Minigun. As good as Protoss is right now in the beta, I have to say that Life, you're going to win that series. Polt versus Creator. Now this is this is the part where the seedings actually got a little bit effed, because you have these like top tier Kodes level Korean players going up against foreigners, and then you have fucking Polt versus Creator. Now, if you haven't seen any of Polt's TVP in Heart of the Swarm, if you haven't seen any of TVP of Polt in Wings of Liberty, you will not understand potentially what I'm about to say, but Polt will trounce Creator. It will be a 3-0. It will be one of the most decisive, just straight up smashing victories that we have seen in quite a while. So Polt will win that series. It will be Polt versus Life in the round of 16, which is, I can't even grasp my head around how awesome this is. I do intend to catch some of MLG on Sunday, but I have commitments today, later on today when it starts, and then on Saturday, right? Stefano versus Last. Based on Stefano's play at IAM, I'm going to say that Last is going to take that series. I haven't seen much out of him, but he's a very skilled mechanically. He's very skilled mechanically for a turn player, and I think that he definitely has what it takes to take that series. Thorazine versus Killer. I'm pretty sure that is South American Killer. South American Killer trounced QXC. They were ridiculously good games. If you can watch that qualifying match, I suggest that you do. All 3 games were very, very good. It was competitive, but yes, Killer did absolutely destroy QXC in that series. Nom nom nom. So Killer's gonna go ahead. Killer's gonna go ahead and take that, considering that Thorazine had previously been playing a fair amount of Wings of Liberty for Pro League. MC versus CJ and Tusahiro. I honestly think that Hero is going to take that. It's not Liquid Hero, but MC really, it felt at IAM like he was one of the people that was playing Heart of the Swarm for the first time. Unless he's got a lot of training under his belt since then. PvP is obviously quite a strong matchup, but it's also one of the ones that's most changed from Wings of Liberty, and I think that he will not benefit from that. Feast versus MVP. I'm not even going to talk about that series. You know. Taser versus Sase. Despite Sase getting convincing victories through cannon rushing Tasia previously, I think that Tasia, rightly so, will absolutely destroy Sase. And send him crying home to Sweden. Goso user versus Bomber. Sorry, the patch Zergs don't get much from the expansions, so he will actually get trounced. Flash versus Bly. I really want to believe in Bly, but I also know that Bly understands what he's facing right now, and it would be silly to predict anything other than Flash versus Bly. Flash over Bly there. Suppy versus Rhett. Man, if this were like a week ago before IAM, I would have said Suppy by a little bit. But holy fuck, man, Rhett fucking owned. Rhett owned the house in IAM. He was really solid. So I'm gonna go ahead and predict Rhett to take out Suppy. Although I really think that that's gonna be quite a close series, even with Rhett's recent prominence. Sen versus Vibe. Vibe is one of my favorite players. I really like all the Six Jacks players were really, really awesome. I like all of them. Vibe, he's one of the nicest guys in esports. He's one of the older guys in esports too, and he doesn't really get all that much exposure. I think that Sen will take the series, but I think that Vibe will put up a fight. State versus Parting. Parting will just Parting. Marine King versus Jakshi. I actually think that this will be a close series. Marine King seems to have benefited a lot from the changes to Terran in Heart of the Swarm. I think that he will still take it, but I think it's going to be a close series, a 3-2 or a 3-1 if they are best of 5. If they're best of 3, then that's kind of silly. Well, I guess not, but still silly. I want to see more games, man. Seed versus Rain. Man, Seed is someone who I think has dropped off a lot recently. I think he needs to find himself again. He's kind of in the same position as Puma. No, he hasn't lacked the results to the extent that Puma has, but I believe so that it will. It'll take a lot from him to beat Rain. Rain, I fully expect him to take that set. Huck versus Innovation. Innovation will absolutely roll Huck. Huck may get a lucky cheese win there, but I honestly think it's going to be almost as decisive as Life versus... oh no, Pulp versus Creator, I said. Life versus Minigun, you get that, like, coin flip chance that it may actually be a somewhat close series, which is really disturbing to say. I love Minigun, but no. He also, keep in mind, Minigun does not do well in land settings. The reason that we don't see him in tournaments a lot is he gets nerves and he doesn't actually enjoy playing. He likes playing online. That's where he feels comfortable. Baby Knight versus Leenock. Octopus is going to tear that kid apart. And it will be enjoyable watching him rise through the ranks. MLG is Leenock's turf, man. You don't fuck with Leenock at MLG. You just don't. And then you want to learn that the hard way. Round of 16. Alright, this is going to go a lot faster now. I'm going to go, like, now that you know my general standings of where people are in my head. Life versus Pulp. I think that Pulp will take that series. A lot of people are predicting Life. I think that Pulp's going to take the series. Last versus Killer. Killer has definite upset potential there, but I think that Last will take it. Hero versus MVP. MVP. Because MVP. Tasia versus Bomber. I think that this will be, honestly, if Tasia's wrists aren't bothering him as much, I think it'll be one of his best, one of the best games here in MLG. Tasia has said before that TVT is the matchup he most likes to play. So I really... And then Bomber has always been a beast. People have compared Tasia and Bomber, and people have compared Bomber to Tasia. And Bomber has better macro. He always has and he always will have better macro than Tasia. Tasia's macro isn't actually that good. I know, your mind is blowing up right now, but take a look at a fair amount of his replays because I've cast a fuck ton of his games. And I've watched a fuck ton of his replays. His macro is actually not that good. His micro was really his micro decision making were really what set him apart from a lot of other players. And he lost a lot of that when he started having wrist problems, which is something completely out of his control, and it's not fair to criticize him for that. I'm not criticizing him for that. I'm simply stating a fact. Bomber will take that series. Flash versus Rhett. Flash will win. Flash versus Life at the BNet, whatever they decided to do, the BNet, like, hullabaloo. That was a sick fucking series, and I think that Flash will take that series. Sen versus Parting. Marine King versus Rain. Marine King. Rain's PVT was really unique, and it was a style that a lot of people had to, a lot of Korean Terrans had to address, to actually, like, have a chance at beating him. But Dream showed how to do that. He studied VODs, he came out with a plan, and he absolutely trounced Rain in a PVT series. And I really think that his PVT, I haven't seen any of it in Heart of the Storm yet, but I think that he will do quite well later on. I don't think he has had time to develop a new style against the really, really hard heavy harass based Terran play that we're seeing out of people like Marine King. Marine King will take that series. Innovation versus Leenock I think could go either way, honestly. Alright, so my heart is with Innovation, but I honestly think that Leenock will take it. That may come back to bite me in the ass. That's really the only pick that I'm really up in arms about. So what do we have here? In the round of 8, Pult versus Last. Pult will take that. MVP versus Bomber. Now, I think that Bomber will win this series. I do not think that MVP will get to the semifinals. I think that if Bomber takes him out, if there's anyone else going up against him, if Tasia meets MVP, MVP is getting to the most likely the finals actually. So yeah, Bomber over MVP. What do we have now? Flash versus Parting. That'll easily be one of the best series in the tournaments. In all the tournaments. No, the tournament. I really think that. I want to say that Flash is going to take it. I think that out of the TVP that we've seen of him in Heart of the Swarm, that he's quite solid. But I'm going to go ahead and say that Parting's actually going to win. Marine King versus Lean Octopus. I don't know. I'm going to say Marine King. I'm going to say Marine King for that series. I think it'll be close. I think it'll be one of the closer games. I think if it's Innovation going up against Marine King has a much better shot. I think he's a lot more confident in his TVT than his TVZ, which is kind of like his Wings of Liberty status a year ago flipped on its head. I know, it's mind-bending. But it's true. So now we have Bomber versus Polt in the semifinals. That'll be a spectacular series. It will be like heavens will herald about that match. And Bomber's gonna win, yo. Bomber's gonna make it to the finals. If Bomber doesn't make it to the finals, it is because he somehow, some way, somebody upset. Because this is Bomber's tournament to lose, I think. Or Bomber's semifinal to lose out on. So Bomber's gonna go to the finals. And next, we have Parting versus Leenock. Or Parting versus Marine King, sorry. Parting versus Marine King. Man, Marine King over Parting. Marine King over Parting. It's going to be MKP versus Bomber in the finals, and Bomber will take it. Heard it here first, kids. Alright. So that's my MLG prediction. I don't know. This is the apples and peanut butter. So apples are the one thing I buy organically. The rest of the organic is the biggest crock of shit meant to raise prices in the history of ever. I saw organic. What did I see the other day? And I was just completely. I literally stood there for a couple, like a good 10, 20 seconds, just staring, trying to grasp my head around why the fuck they would market this product as organic. And I forget what it was. So I completely lose the point of my story, right? But this is the only natural peanut butter they had. And natural isn't organic, I realize that, but there are a lot of like weird oils and shit, corn syrup and whatnot, in other peanut butter. And I eat like a ridiculous amount of peanut butter. It's one of my main protein sources. It probably should not, considering it's relatively high in fat, but it's good for you fats. And fat, my mom is always telling me to eat more fat. Chris, you don't eat enough whenever I'm, but it's okay. Because I'm the one that cooks. I get to determine exactly what I eat and exactly how much I eat. So I hope you guys enjoyed this vlog. I know it was a little bit long, but I'm really excited by MLG. I'm excited to catch up in the matches 2 weeks from now when I actually have time to myself. And I may actually not have a vlog next week because the vlog I think is due on my birthday. And I'm not even like, I'm gone. I'm out for almost every night next week, including my birthday, and it's not for birthday festivities. It is for random shit that I actually have to do that I really do not want to do, but it is required of me. So I hope you guys enjoy this vlog. I hope you have a great, wonderful rest of the day. I'm gonna go make myself some fucking Szechuan pork. It'll be glorious, and hope to catch you guys later. Enjoy the fuck out of MLG because it's gonna be awesome. Peace.